So starting with more hips again today. We still spend most of our time sat down, especially in lockdown. So hence the hip emphasis all the time. So we're going to just start with standard hip flexor stretch, easing into it. Try and be on your toe, tuck the bum under, ribs down, pushing into it slightly. We're just going to ease them off before we make it a little bit harder. Yeah. Again, abs engaged, glutes on. Forgot to time it. Minute per side. So left knee's down, so left bum's on. Nice and easy. Some good deep breaths. If you can breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth, do. But don't worry if it's too difficult. Okay, now we're going to take the left arm, just pop it overhead. We're going to start to try and lean to the side and back. So if your right foot is on the floor, right knee up, you're going to lean to the right hand side. Doesn't have to be much, but hopefully just a little lean, you start to feel it more in the stomach, a little bit higher. And once that feels comfortable, then you can also start pushing the stretch a little bit more by leaning, sitting, pushing the hips into it, and maybe leaning back again. Keep trying to keep the abs engaged, even though you're kind of trying to lean back as well. Really start stretching that hip flexor now. A few more seconds. Okay, let's swap sides. Oh. So we'll do the same thing. We'll start nice and move back so I'm not in the light. So starting pretty comfortably, pretty straightforward. To be honest, even just starting in this position is quite tight. So it is for me, it might be for you. That's fine. If you already need some more though, then do start pushing into it if you don't feel anything. So glutes on, ribs are down, abs are engaged. Suck that belly button in, that helps to engage. Once you feel comfortable with that one and it's kind of eased off, then you can start with the hand. A little bit longer for me. Okay, let's go for it. So arm up, nice and tall, reaching up, and then reaching over and back slightly. Keep that glute on. We're really tempting to relax it. Try not to. Big breaths again. Every time you take that big breath, you probably feel it a little bit tighter. Just because you're expanding that area more, that's all that is. Keep holding a little bit longer. Keep that glute on. It does want to relax all the time. You have to really just be on it. Okay, quick relax. Oh, I've lost my, not brought my band up today. Okay, so we're moving on to the V-sit stretch. And you left it downstairs. All right, so in a V with our legs. Just tilt down a little bit. I'll use a jumper. That's what I'll use. Here we go. All right, so V-sit with our legs. And we're basically trying to get the legs as wide as we can. Keep them straight, and we're trying to lean over as much as we can. Hoping to feel it a little bit in the hamstring, mainly in the adductors and the groin region. So I'm just using a little tool to help pull me into position a little bit, because it's quite hard otherwise. There we go. Right, so quite a long hold on this one. 3 minutes, so start easy. So I'm just going to start trying to sit up. I can already feel it in the inner thighs, slightly in the hamstrings. Hopefully what I'll find is, so if I let go of the jumper now, it's tough. I'm fighting to hold that position. by the end of this 3 minutes, that should be quite easy to hold, quite comfortable. So if you can go lower, do so. If you can get your head to touch the floor, great, do it. Yeah, that's kind of what we're working towards. It's a million miles away at the minute, but that would be the goal. So every now and again, just kind of pull forward so you can go further. Kind of every 30 seconds or so, and then you want to relax. Keep this as the new set point. Wait until this feels comfortable, and then go again. Yeah, every 30 seconds or so. That's it. So if this is really difficult for you too, you feel like you're falling backwards, and you just kind of need something as well, like me, towel, a jumper. In other videos, you see me using an elastic band, which is what I forgot. So now I can reach the banister, which is going to be easy to hold. So I'm going to start there. So I'm just going to hold this until it's comfy. Keep trying to breathe into it, guys, as well. So long holds, it's a good chance to just relax. Try and enjoy that stretch. Bit of time for you. If you want some added stretch, you can just tuck your chin in, and that'll stretch along the back further again. You can also pull the toes up to you towards your shins. It's going to start to stretch the hamstrings a bit more. You can also obviously go wider with your legs. If this is super comfy, do go wider. It's a great stretch, this, 'cause there's so many different things you can do to make it harder or better. Good. That's the 3 minutes. We're just going to hold it a little bit longer. Just want you to now pull into it a tiny bit more. Try and get right to your end range where it's quite tough. Just hold it for 15 or so seconds. Okay, you can relax. Oh, 3 minutes went quick. Good work. I love that one. It's one I try and do every day, but mainly because I'm so bad at it. Okay, lovely. We're going to move back to hip flexors. We're going to do the twisted hip opener. So we're just making it a bit harder. So that's in a half Spider-Man, I guess. And then we're twisting round, grab the foot, and really just working on this area again for a little bit longer. So again, we're gonna kind of build up to 2 minutes on this, but if you need a break, take it. You'll see that I will too. All right, so it's on your hands and knees. One foot goes next to the hands, like this, and then you reach around, grab the foot. If you have to move to get there, that's fine. And I'm going to go on my knuckles to make it a little bit easier to start, because it is a tough stretch. And we're just holding that. Your aim is to be straight at the hip. You can see my hip is kind of pushing out to the ceiling because it's tight and difficult. You want to really try and push that hip forwards, and you'll feel the stretch all the way through the quad to start with. And if you can get far enough, it will be higher up into the hip as well. So this is the one that I sometimes use the bed on. So I'll show you that because it's getting tough. So just to make it a bit easier if you need it. Just like that. So that lets me get in a better position. So if you guys are struggling with that as well, do it. 2 minutes is a long time per side as well. The more you pull your heel to your bum, the harder it's going to be. So if you need to loosen it off, straighten your arm. If you need to make it harder, pull it in. Check on you guys. Got 20 seconds left on that one. Nice work, guys. Looks good. 12 more seconds. Let's finish on the floor again. Okay, that's that. Let's swap sides. If you do need a break, just take it. I had a few breaks, so I'm going to crack straight on. We start with the bed again in that elevated position. Starting nice and easy. I'm not really pulling my heel to my bum too much. So you want big chest as much as you can. Big breaths as usual. I'm just trying to relax, trying to feel the stretch in the quad, not too much to start with. We'll build up the pain to start with, but it should start to ease off as well. Good. Hopefully feeling this quite a lot. Big breaths, nice and controlled. Once it starts to feel comfortable, pull that heel to the bum. You can pulse it, you can go up for 3 seconds, relax for 3, or you can just try and pull and hold it for a good 10, 15, relax, and then again. Both are good, as long as you're not pulling too hard. We definitely want to be pushing it a little bit here and there. So I'm going to relax. And I'm going to try it on the floor again. Last 13 seconds, so we're almost done. Okay, good. Nice. Let's go a few more seconds. That's it. Okay, relax out of it. Good. All right, grab a quick drink if you have one, if you want one. Okay. Next we have glutes on the wall. Swivel this a tiny bit. Make sure you can see. So we're doing the half kneeling lotus. Half kneeling? Yeah. So that's on the floor, feet against the wall. We're looking to be roughly 90 degrees at the knee to start. See how you get on. And then it's one ankle on the knee. Doesn't have to be a wall, anything really. And we're pushing the knee into the wall. If that's easy, then we go closer to the wall. Do the same thing. When you do this, make sure your bum is on the floor. So in this position, I'm too close. My glute is too tight. It's actually keeping me from putting my bum on the floor. So I need to go further back. And there we have it. That's enough for me. So once you're all in there, we'll start the timer. You can spend a good minute and a half in each one. Really feeling it in the glute, hopefully. If you're not, try going closer. Try pushing the knee in a little bit. I don't want you to be cranking on that knee and pushing too hard though. Just a little bit. If you're not feeling it, you're better to go a bit closer as well. You can also, if you just need that extra bit, you can just push it out with your toe. on which the toe's on the wall, so you're just pulling your knee to you as well as pushing that. That's going to create more internal rotation to stretch that quad, glute. So you've got 2 ways there of making it a little bit harder. So 3 stages without having to move. And because we're holding for a good 90 seconds, that should be enough. Just keep relaxing. Just thinking about the stretch, focusing on your breathing, trying to breathe in through the nose, nice and deep, out through the mouth, a long and slow exhale where you can. They say a good tempo would be 4 seconds in, 8 seconds out. Don't worry too much about that. Just go for a long, slow exhale and you'll be fine. Almost there now. Yeah, 4 seconds. Big stretch on this glute. Okay. We'll quickly swap. Don't need to move anywhere, so we can just get straight in on the second leg. You might find your second leg's tighter or looser, and you just have to reposition slightly if that's the case. If you don't feel it in the right area as well, just let me know. We'll have a look. So again, making sure you're pushing the hips and bum into the floor, keeping the chest up. That's going to help get that stretch as well. So we're not rounding at all. You know, no crunching up, because that does take the stretch away. So if it's starting to ease off now, if it's getting easier, just start to push your knee into the wall a little bit, or push up with the toe that's on the wall, one of the two or both. Just feel that deeper stretch in there now. I'm going to hold that for the remaining, what is it, 30 or so seconds? Yeah. Keep pushing that knee, keep pushing with the foot. As long as this doesn't hurt the knee as well, by the way. If it does, you'll have to change it slightly by not pushing into the knee. And you probably want less movement this way. Good, tiny bit more, last few seconds. Okay, good. That's it, time. Excellent. Oh, lovely. Okay, that's great. Next up, we have back to more hip flexors, but we're going to combine it with the hamstrings like we've done a few times before. So back into this position. So we're going to do a dynamic. Well, what we're going to start with is a little bit further forward with the foot this time. So normally with something like this, where the heel is under the knee, we're going to go a little bit further, and we're just going to push into it a little bit more. You might feel less of the quad, more into the hip there. That's the plan. So a wider stance, I suppose. Pushing into it a little bit more. You probably feel it more in the hip, more in the groin region. And then from there, we go back to that hamstring where you can position how you want. You can sit right back. You can keep the knee bent. As long as you're feeling it under the thigh, that's all good. And we're going to keep alternating between the two every few seconds, not really spending a long time in each, trying to push into that end range, relax it, move back. Okay? So here we go. We're going to do a minute of it per side. Almost constant moving, just kind of a quick pause when we hit end range. Particularly if you actually find one of them you really like and you're feeling a nice stretch. Stay there longer, that's okay. Or if you know you need to work on hamstrings, then do take a little bit longer there, that's fine. So 25 seconds left on this side. Keep going with it. Big stretches. Hopefully we're starting to push into it a little bit more perhaps. Probably especially this hamstring one. We've done plenty of hip flexors already. Last one. Okay, spin, swap sides. So again, get that bigger stance with the legs. And then into that hip flexor stretch. You might just be aware where your hips are pointing as well. You do want to keep them square. That's really going to help. So if you're not feeling that hip flexor stretch, it might be because you're twisted. Into hamstrings. I'm trying to do this where I don't actually move my foot. So if you want to try that, you can. You can obviously slide it back if you want. Every time my sock comes off. Into that stretch again. Still try and squeeze the opposite glute, well not the opposite, the glute of the rear leg. So it's still going to help to create that stretch in the hip flexor. And especially when it's only a few seconds, keep going a little bit longer. Pause that. Almost there. Not spending too long. Okay. Oh, relax. Good. We're going to do some downward dog into Cobra movement next. So I hope my socks don't slip off. So press up position to start with. Just walk back on the hands, dig the heels into the floor, and you're trying to straighten the legs, push the chest through the arms, and you're just going to hold that for a short time. Basically what we've just done, a minute of this position, moving through into this position. And when you're in this position, make sure you're squeezing your glutes. Go up slowly. Don't crank on your lower back, okay? All right, so just do a minute and a half on that. So here we go. So pushing into downward dog, trying to get knees straight, trying to get the heels on the floor, pushing the head and chest through. Walk back out all the way flat, glutes on, and pull the chest up as high as it will go. Try and look up with your head as well, and then back down, press position, back in. If you have to move with the arms, that's fine. Get that position again. That one's definitely harder. Back into Cobra or Rising Sun or just an ab stretch, whatever you want to call it. And then back in. Really pushing those heels into the floor. Really trying to straighten those knees. And go again. Ooh. Glutes on. Stretch. Nice and steady. Pull it up. And back again. Almost there. Okay, finish with this Cobra. Ooh. Glutes on. Shoulders down. Looking up. Big stretch. and relax them arms. Tiring. Good. Okay. We are going to do a forward lean next. So basically stood up, falling over, folding over, I should say. So we're starting with straight knees. Okay, and we're just going to start by folding over at the hip, nice and low. See how far you can get. Hold there for 5 seconds. And then we're going to come up, hands above head, reaching to the ceiling. Big reach. And I'm going to repeat. I didn't press start. So big reach up high. And then arms out by the side, down again. And again, 5 seconds, pushing the depth, trying to go lower, trying to reach for toes, reach for floor, reach for knuckles, palms, whatever it is. And back up, arms out to the side, above the head, pushing up high. 5 seconds there. And again, see, can you go further? Can you straighten your legs a tiny bit more? They do tend to just pop forward a tiny bit. Tuck the chin into the chest, perhaps. Get that extra stretch. And then up we go again. Reach for the ceiling. Big stretch, push, push, push. 5 seconds there. And then out again. All right, we're going to hold this down position a little bit longer. And whilst you're there, I just want you to kind of reach to the sides, spin around a tiny bit, kind of grab one shin and rotate a tiny bit. Do it steadily and controlled. Just kind of a little bit of movement in here. Working one hamstring, then the other. Again, might be getting a little bit in the back. And then back to middle. Just holding. Maybe you can reach forwards. Maybe you can reach behind you. Whatever you fancy. Spend a little bit more time here. Just getting a bit more comfortable. Exploring the movement down here. Hopefully your legs aren't shaking as much as mine. A few more big breaths. Okay, bend those knees, coming down into a squat position. So fingers under toes. You're going to try and squat nice and low. Basically trying to get your bum all the way down, pulling on the toes, pulling the bum into the calves. Desperately trying to keep the heels from raising. We want the most of the weight through the middle of the foot, but definitely heels down. Just holding that position. Then keep hold of those toes. Just try and stand up. Keep hold of those toes. A few seconds there. And we're going to go a little bit wide with your feet. And then back down. Keep those knees out with the elbows. Try and sink the hips. Trying to pull the chest up. Trying to sink the hips. How low can you go? And again, hold on to those toes. Try and stand up. Try and straighten those legs. Fold at the hip. Just going to spin around the floors a bit wonky there. I'll give you a front view. So again, we're going to try and go a little bit wider with the feet now. And go again. Pulling ourselves down, pulling the knees out, pulling the chest up, shoulder blades should be down and back. A few seconds there. We're going up and then we're going wider again to finish. Okay, up. Straighten those legs. As we go wider, you should find it easier to straighten. A few seconds. All right, wider again, just kind of a centimetre to each side. Bend those knees, keep those knees out, and pull ourselves down. Pull the knees out, pull the bum down, pull the chest up, all three. Hardest one for me so far. Hold it a little bit longer. Knees out, use those glutes as well as those elbows. And relax. Just stand up, relax, chill out. Whew. That's time. Hang on. Oh, perfect. Yeah, that's it. All done. Whew.
Here's Dom. That last one was hard.
Thanks, guys.
That was
Yeah.
good stretching.